Royal Caribbean just spent over $300 million on a single beach. Not a resort, not a hotel, a beach. And they are already planning the next one. Carnival has one, Norwegian has one, Disney has one. MSC just opened theirs. The question is not why they are all building private islands. The question is why they are racing to build them faster than ever before. And the answer has almost nothing to do with your vacation. It has everything to do with a problem cruise lines solved quietly, somewhere between the zip line and the overwater cabana. How do you get someone to spend money freely in a foreign country without ever feeling like they are being sold to? This video is the answer. The cruise industry sells one of the most seductive lies in travel, that the ship is taking you somewhere. A brochure shows blue water, white sand, smiling families, and words like escape, adventure, and paradise. But the modern cruise business increasingly does not want to take you into the world. It wants to take you into a version of the world it controls. That is the difference. A normal port is messy. It has locals, vendors, taxis, restaurants, bargaining, weather problems, cultural friction, and competition. A private destination is cleaner, easier, safer, more predictable, and far more profitable. It lets the cruise line do something hotels, airlines, and theme parks have dreamed about forever. Capture the customer from morning to night without letting outside businesses interrupt the spending loop. The best example is Royal Caribbean's Perfect Day at CocoCay in the Bahamas. Royal Caribbean spent hundreds of millions transforming what used to be a simple private island stop into a giant branded playground with a massive water park, overwater cabanas, beach clubs, pools, bars, thrill rides, and family zones. One financial estimate from Cleveland Research Center projected that Perfect Day at CocoCay could generate around $600 million in 2026. That number is insane when you remember what this is. Not a ship, not a new cruise line, not a fleet, but one private island destination engineered to make a beach day spend like a theme park. That is the part passengers do not always see. The private island is not just an amenity. It is a revenue engine. On a normal island stop, a passenger might walk off the ship and spend money with local businesses. They might buy lunch at a local restaurant, take a taxi from a local driver, rent chairs from a beach vendor, or book an independent excursion. Some of that money never touches the cruise line. From the company's point of view, that is leakage. Private islands are designed to stop the leak. The cruise line already sold you the cabin. Then it sells you the drink package. Then the Wi-Fi package. Then the specialty dining. Then the spa. Then the casino. Then, when the ship docks, instead of letting you wander into a real local economy, it drops you into a corporate-owned paradise where the next round of spending can begin. This is vertical integration wearing sunscreen. The cruise company controls the transportation, the hotel room, the entertainment, the food environment, the excursions, the beach access, the retail environment, the premium seating, and sometimes even the version of local culture you are allowed to experience. It is the same logic Disney used with theme parks, but floating. The more pieces of the vacation one company controls, the less money escapes. And once cruise executives realized that the private island could work like a theme park without needing to call itself a theme park, the race was on. Carnival's Celebration Key is the clearest sign that this strategy has gone mainstream. Carnival opened the destination on Grand Bahama in July 2025 after what it described as the first phase of an initial $600 million investment. Carnival framed it as the ultimate beach day, with different areas, massive lagoons, beach zones, bars, dining, family spaces, and adult-focused experiences. The Bahamian government said the opening welcomed the first 5,000 guests, and that the project involved more than 1,200 jobs. On paper, that sounds like a win for everyone, and parts of it absolutely are beneficial for local employment and tourism infrastructure. But financially, the strategic point is obvious. Carnival is not just bringing passengers to the Bahamas, it is building its own controlled version of the Bahamas. That distinction matters. When a cruise ship docks in Nassau or Cozumel or St. Thomas, the passenger is still inside a tourism economy that other people can compete for. A local restaurant can win the lunch. A local beach club can win the cabana spend. A local tour guide can win the excursion. A taxi union can win the transport. a jewelry store can win the impulse purchase. But when the line builds an exclusive destination, it changes the rules. The passenger can still technically choose not to spend, but the environment has been designed so spending feels natural, easy, and emotionally justified. You are not buying a cabana. You are upgrading your perfect day. You are not paying extra for a water park. You are making memories. You are not spending $17 on a drink. You are finally relaxing. That is the psychology that makes these places so powerful. Cruise passengers are already in vacation mode. They have already crossed the emotional line from normal life into permission mode. The hardest spending decision happened before they boarded, booking the trip. After that, smaller charges feel less real. A drink here, a rental there, a beach club upgrade, a zip line, a photo package, a souvenir cup, a premium lounger. Once you are surrounded by music, sun, water, and other people spending freely, price resistance drops. The cruise line does not need to force anyone. It just needs to design an environment where saying yes feels easier than saying no. The payment system makes it even easier. Cruise vacations are famous for separating spending from the feeling of spending. You do not constantly hand over cash. You tap a card, scan a wristband, use an onboard account, or charge purchases to your cabin. The bill comes later, after the emotional high. That frictionless payment structure is not a small detail. It is central to the model. When payment feels invisible, consumption feels lighter. And when the private island is integrated into that same account system, the beach becomes an extension of the ship's casino, spa, bar, and specialty restaurant economy. You are not entering a town. You are entering another floor of the ship, just with sand. That is why Royal Caribbean's language around private destinations is so important. The company has not stopped at CocoCay. Its private destination strategy includes Perfect Day at CocoCay, beach clubs, and other planned or announced destinations, such as Royal Beach Club Paradise Island, Royal Beach Club Cozumel, Royal Beach Club Santorini, Perfect Day Mexico, and Royal Beach Club La Lepa. Industry coverage has described these exclusive destinations as a potential revenue engine because they can support ticket price uplift, incremental spend, and better margin control compared with third-party ports. That is the quiet sentence that explains the whole business. Better margin control. Better margin control means fewer outsiders taking a piece. It means the cruise line is not only competing for your vacation budget before the trip, but also capturing more of your daily wallet once the trip begins. That is why private destinations are not just pretty beaches. They are financial infrastructure. They give cruise lines a way to increase revenue per passenger without simply raising the headline cruise fare. The base fare can still look affordable. The ad can still say, 3 nights from $299, or kids sail free, or all-inclusive vibes. But the real profit can come later, through upgrades, add-ons, and controlled experiences that passengers buy after they are already trapped inside the vacation funnel. Norwegian Cruise Line's Great Stirrup Cay shows the same direction. Norwegian has been developing its private island in the Bahamas with major enhancements, including a new multi-ship pier planned alongside new amenities. Norwegian Cruise Line Holdings said in 2025 that upgrades would debut beginning in the fourth quarter of 2025, along with the completion of the pier. Earlier, the company had described a roughly $150 million pier investment designed to accommodate 2 large ships at the same time. That detail is not boring infrastructure. It is the whole business model. A pier means fewer tender delays, more reliable access, more passenger volume, and more hours on the island spending money. Tendering sounds like a small operational issue, but it affects revenue. When passengers have to wait for small boats to shuttle them to shore, some people stay on the ship. Bad weather can cancel the stop. Lines get long. The day feels inconvenient. A pier turns the private island into a more reliable machine. People walk off faster. They spend more time ashore. More ships can call. More passengers can flow through the controlled environment. That is why infrastructure investment matters. The private destination is not just a beach. It is a throughput system. Disney understands this too because Disney has been controlling vacation environments longer than almost anyone. Disney Cruise Line opened Lookout Cay at Lighthouse Point on Eleuthera in the Bahamas in 2024, adding to its long-running Castaway Cay private island model. Disney's project is not simply a beach stop. It is Disney's version of controlled cultural immersion, with character appearances, Disney-designed amenities, branded entertainment, and curated Bahamian elements. Coverage noted Disney's investment in local youth programs, conservation, and community spaces. and Disney has emphasized sustainability and Bahamian cultural involvement. But the strategic logic still fits the same pattern. As Disney expands its cruise fleet, it needs more exclusive destinations to keep the Disney bubble intact at sea. Disney is especially revealing because Disney already proved the power of the bubble on land. At Walt Disney World, the company learned that the most profitable guest is not the one who visits for a few hours and leaves. It is the one who stays on property, eats on property, shops on property, uses Disney transportation, buys Disney souvenirs, and treats the outside world like an inconvenience. Disney Cruise Line is applying that same principle to the ocean. The ship is the hotel. The private island is the park. The characters are the emotional glue. The wristband or onboard account is the payment rail. The family memories are the justification. It is not a cruise with an island stop. It is a floating Disney resort with a beach extension. And this is where the private island strategy becomes almost unfairly good. Cruise lines know that passengers do not compare private island prices the way they compare normal prices. At home, a person might think twice before paying luxury resort prices for a beach chair or a drink. But on vacation, surrounded by turquoise water, with limited time, in a place they may never visit again, the logic changes. Scarcity enters the picture. You only have one day. Your kids are excited. Everyone else is doing it. The ship leaves at 5. Suddenly, the expensive upgrade feels less like overspending and more like avoiding regret. That is psychological anchoring. The cruise itself sets the first anchor. A vacation costs thousands. Once that number is in your head, a $100 excursion, a $200 cabana split across a family, or a premium beach club pass feels smaller. The island also creates a second anchor. This is paradise, and paradise is supposed to be expensive. When a place looks exclusive, high prices feel more acceptable. The cruise line does not need to justify every charge with raw value. The setting does half the work. The smartest part is that private islands also solve a consistency problem. Real ports are unpredictable. Some passengers love them. Some feel overwhelmed. Some complain about aggressive vendors, unsafe areas, transportation confusion, or dirty beaches. Cruise lines cannot fully control that experience, but customers still blame the cruise if the port day goes badly. Private destinations allow the company to standardize paradise, same cleanliness, same security, same food safety, same brand language, same music, same service expectations, same app, same account, same carefully controlled feeling that nothing can really go wrong. For families, especially, that predictability is powerful. For the cruise line, it is profitable. But there is a cost hidden inside that comfort. The more cruise lines build private islands, the less passengers actually interact with the places they are supposedly visiting. The Caribbean becomes less of a region and more of a backdrop. The Bahamas becomes a set. Mexico becomes a controlled beach club. Haiti, when Royal Caribbean's Labadee operated normally, was not presented as Haiti in full complexity. It was a fenced-off cruise destination on a peninsula, curated for passengers. The local economy may still receive jobs, taxes, fees, leases, and vendor opportunities. But the passenger's experience is filtered through the cruise company's design. That means less randomness, less risk, and less authentic local competition. This is why the private island boom is not just a travel trend. It is a corporate strategy for bypassing local economies while still using local geography. The cruise line needs the beauty of the Caribbean, but not necessarily the independence of Caribbean businesses. It wants the beach, the water, the weather, the image, and the emotional power of the destination. But it would prefer not to lose the passenger's wallet to uncontrolled vendors. Private destinations solve that contradiction. They let the company sell the Bahamas, while keeping more of the Bahamas spending inside its own commercial system. To be fair, this is not a simple villain story. Private destinations can create real jobs. Carnival's Celebration Key was promoted with more than 1,200 jobs and a major boost for Grand Bahama. Disney has promoted local hiring, cultural programming, conservation, and community investments in Eleuthera. Cruise companies pay port fees, negotiate with governments, and often provide infrastructure that local regions want. Passengers may feel safer and more comfortable. Families may genuinely prefer a clean, controlled beach day over a chaotic port. The point is not that private islands have zero benefit. The point is that the business model is designed first around corporate capture of vacation spend, not around maximizing independent local participation. That nuance matters because the cruise industry is very good at wrapping financial strategy in emotional language. They do not say captive marketplace. They say exclusive destination. They do not say margin control. They say perfect day. They do not say vertical integration. They say seamless experience. They do not say we want fewer third-party vendors capturing passenger spend. They say convenience. And technically, they are not lying. It is convenient. It is seamless. It is exclusive. But those are also the same features that make the place so profitable. The cruise lines learned from theme parks. A theme park does not make money because the roller coaster exists. It makes money because the guest cannot easily leave the controlled environment. Food, drinks, merchandise, premium access, parking, photos, hotels, and add-ons all live inside the same economic fence. Private islands are theme parks without the roller coaster requirement. The beach is the ride. The ocean is the backdrop. The cabana is the VIP section. The island map is the park map. The ship is the hotel. And the passenger is already pre-qualified because they paid to get there. That is why CocoCay was such a breakthrough. Royal Caribbean did not just create a beach stop, it created a brand. Perfect Day is not a location name, it is a promise. And once a company can brand a destination experience, it can sell cruises based on that destination, charge more for itineraries that include it, and build future private destinations using the same playbook. This is how a beach becomes intellectual property. The sand is real, but the commercial value comes from the brand architecture built on top of it. Carnival is now chasing that same idea with Celebration Key. Norwegian is upgrading Great Stirrup Cay. Disney has Castaway Cay and Lookout Cay. MSC has Ocean Cay MSC Marine Reserve in the Bahamas, another example of a cruise company turning a controlled island environment into a branded extension of the ship. Royal Caribbean is exporting the model beyond the Bahamas with beach clubs and perfect day-style developments. This is not random. It is the next phase of cruising. The cruise lines are building their own ports because owning the customer relationship on the ship is no longer enough. They want to own the day ashore too. The irony is that passengers often love it. That is what makes the strategy so strong. Nobody feels trapped when the trap looks like a beach. Nobody feels like a captive consumer when they are holding a frozen drink in warm water. Nobody wants to think about vertical integration while their kid is running toward a water slide. And that is exactly why it works. The environment is designed to convert financial control into emotional ease. The passenger feels relaxed. The company captures spend. Both sides can walk away feeling like they won, even though one side designed the game. But the long-term question is what this does to travel itself. Cruises used to promise that you could wake up in a new place every day. Now the industry is discovering that the best new place might be a company-owned simulation of a place. That is a major shift. It means the future of cruising may be less about exploration and more about controlled repetition. More branded beaches, more exclusive clubs, more private cabanas, more artificial villages, more local culture curated by corporate entertainment teams, more islands that feel different on the brochure but function the same in the spreadsheet. And the spreadsheet is ruthless. A private destination can increase pricing power, reduce dependency on third-party ports, keep passengers inside the company ecosystem, create sellable premium experiences, improve consistency scores, and support bigger ships with more passengers. It can also become a competitive moat. If Royal Caribbean has CocoCay, Carnival needs Celebration Key. If Disney has Castaway Cay and Lookout Cay, other family-focused cruises need their own controlled paradise. If Norwegian upgrades Great Stirrup Cay, it can market itineraries around a better beach experience. The private island arms race forces everyone to play because once one cruise line proves passengers will pay for a manufactured paradise, the others cannot afford to leave that revenue on the table. The result is a strange new map of the Caribbean. Not just countries and ports, but corporate zones. Royal Caribbean zones, Carnival zones, Disney zones, Norwegian zones, MSC zones. These are not countries, but they behave like branded microeconomies. They have their own guest flows, their own menus, their own retail, their own excursions, their own premium tiers, and their own version of local flavor. They are not fully fake, but they are not fully open either. They are controlled vacation environments built on real land. That is what should make viewers pause. The cruise line is not merely asking, where should we take people? It is asking, how much of the destination can we own, lease, control, or design before the guest even realizes the difference? That is a much bigger question, because once a cruise line controls the destination, it controls the options. Once it controls the options, it controls the psychology. Once it controls the psychology, it controls the wallet. And this is why private islands are so valuable in the post-pandemic cruise recovery. Cruise companies took on heavy debt during the shutdown years, then came roaring back as demand recovered. But filling ships is only part of the recovery. The real game is extracting more revenue per passenger. Private destinations help because they are not just about volume, they are about yield. A passenger on a private island can buy beach club access, cabanas, rentals, branded drinks, merchandise, excursions, photos, specialty food, and activities without leaving the company's commercial orbit. A normal beach day becomes a monetized funnel. That funnel starts before the cruise. The private island is used in marketing to make the itinerary feel more valuable. Then passengers are shown upgrade options before sailing. Then they see more options on board. Then they arrive and experience social pressure in real time. People walking into premium areas create visible aspiration. Cabanas signal status. Beach clubs create separation. The people who paid more are physically placed in better spaces, and everyone else can see it. That is not accidental. Premium segmentation works best when the upgrade is visible enough to create desire, but not so aggressive that it ruins the basic experience. That is the same psychology airlines use with first class, hotels use with executive lounges, and theme parks use with VIP tours. The basic product gets you in the door. The premium product sells relief from friction. Less crowding, better views, shorter waits, more privacy, better service. On private islands, this looks like cabanas, adults-only zones, club access, water park passes, villas, and exclusive beach areas. The line between luxury and comfort gets blurred. You pay extra not just for something better, but to avoid the feeling that you are missing out. And because the island is private or exclusive, there is no easy outside comparison. At a normal port, you might check prices from 5 local beach clubs. On a controlled destination, the cruise line sets the frame. That changes your mental math. You are not comparing against the real local market. You are comparing against other options inside the same corporate environment. The $99 pass feels expensive until the $499 cabana makes it seem reasonable. The $17 drink feels normal because the whole environment has already been priced as a premium escape. This is price anchoring in the wild with palm trees. The hidden brilliance is that private islands also protect the cruise line from bad port experiences that can damage reviews. If passengers are disappointed by a dirty beach, pushy vendors, long taxi lines, or confusing logistics at a public port, they may blame the cruise. A controlled island reduces that risk. The cruise line can create the exact kind of day most mainstream cruisers want. Clean bathrooms, easy food, predictable chairs, familiar drinks, kid-friendly activities, visible security, and no stress. That makes customers happy. Happy customers return. Returning customers spend again. The emotional benefit is real. The profit benefit is even more real. So the private island strategy is not just greedy corporation builds beach. It is smarter than that. It solves real customer pain points while capturing more money. That is why it is so hard to criticize. Families do want safety. People do want convenience. Travelers do want clean beaches. Parents do want predictable days. But the cruise line is using those genuine desires to build a closed spending environment. That is the difference between serving the customer and owning the customer. And that brings us back to the core truth. The private island is not the destination. The destination is your wallet. The island is the interface. The beach is the emotional trigger. The payment system is the pipe. The premium upgrades are the profit ladder. The ship delivers the captive audience. The itinerary creates urgency. The brand creates trust. The setting lowers resistance. And the entire system is designed so that by the time the passenger gets back on board, the cruise line has not just sold transportation and lodging. It has sold a complete controlled reality. That is the future of cruising. Not bigger ships alone, not cheaper fares alone, not more ports alone. The future is closed-loop vacation ecosystems where cruise lines own or control more of the journey from booking page to beach chair. The ship gets you there. The island keeps you spending. The brand tells you it is paradise. The bill arrives later. And the scariest part is that passengers may not reject this future. They may choose it. Because controlled paradise is easier than real travel. It is safer, cleaner, simpler, more photogenic, more predictable. And in a world where many people are stressed, tired, and overwhelmed, predictability sells. Cruise lines know that. They are betting billions on it. So the next time a cruise ad shows you an empty beach and calls it an exclusive island escape, look past the palm trees. Ask who owns the beach chairs, who runs the bars, who sells the excursions, who controls the payment system, who built the pier, who designed the route. Who profits when you decide that paradise would be better with a private cabana and one more drink? Because you may think the ship dropped you off in paradise, but the truth is much colder. The cruise line brought paradise with a cash register already built into it. And that is the real magic trick of the private island boom, turning the open ocean into a closed economy, turning a beach day into a balance sheet, and turning your vacation escape into one more place where the house always wins.